Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Breaking Bells. What is up, everybody, and welcome to our weekly wrap-up episode of Breaking Bells. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the lovely Holly. What's up, Holly?
Hey, hello.
There, we had enough of you. Locke, what's up, Lockleth? How you doing?
Hey. I think our energy levels are down a little bit.
No. We're gonna bring it back up. We're gonna bring it. So
we're good.
Don't call me out on that. Don't call me out on that. The thing is we thought spit it out. We'd like to take this episode to kind of talk about like the things our week and kind of like a more chill episode of what we've been going through. I know for a fact because it got brought up a little bit earlier in the week, but Locke actually got a new Switch.
Ooh, how fun!
Yes. You texted you DM me like yesterday afternoon, like later or whatever. I think I was down for a nap when you texted me. And I woke up and I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh my god, like she's gonna make the plunge. So go ahead. How did this come about? What give us the details.
Well, for one, I had the funds to do so, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go on Amazon. I'm just gonna look, which is never a good statement for me to ever have, because then usually that's why I have 3 dogs now, I'm sure. But anyways, I went on there and looked because I was just gonna get the normal one or whatever, just look at the price, and then I said, oh yeah, they have the Animal Crossing edition on Amazon right now, and and it's an Amazon Prime item. So I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. Like, why not? Like, I have the money, I have the funds to do so. I'm gonna treat myself. My husband he was real excited about it too. He's like, yeah, let's get it.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I just took the plunge and decided to get it. And I don't know where I'm gonna go with it. I don't know if I'm gonna stream or if I'm gonna start doing YouTube videos or whatever, but I like Animal Crossing so much. I don't know if I'll start a new island or if I'll showcase my current one. I definitely want to showcase what I have because I spent so much time on it. But I don't know. I'm just going to kind of go with it and just see where we go from here. But I just took the plunge and decided to get it.
I personally, this is me talking. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't stream or do YouTube videos. Like, if you have a little inkling of thought or desire behind it, like, give it a shot. You have nothing to lose, seriously.
Yeah.
And that's not just to you, that's to anybody that has that thought pattern. And like, a lot of what Holly and I do around here is showcase newer content creators and stuff that we like and that we stumble upon. And to me, it's like, it's a lot of amazing people I think that's what makes this community so amazing, is people the first time, I think that's the thing, the first timers stepping out and being bold, those are the ones that seem to like people rally behind and really push up and stuff. So I've seen where, like, here's my advice to you: if you are going to do it, do some island tours, do some decorating, do some stuff like that. Don't go in there trying to be the authority on Animal Crossing. Because that's where I think people are getting rejected, you know what I mean? Because they have their favorites already for that, like Mayor Mori and all those guys. When you go in and you're just like, hey, I'm trying to add just carve out a little piece over here, and this is going to be my thing where I'm doing over here, I think they rally right behind you and take off, and it's such a huge thing. So I would encourage you, honestly, to do that if you feel so inclined. And Holly and I would be here absolutely to offer advice and help if you need that. So
thanks, guys.
Sure.
I'll teach you all the bad things to go down, and then that way
so I think being in a corporate setting kind of helps for me to think things through and how to potentially be a content creator or streamer. Plus, I've been a subscriber to so many different channels for so many years, and I've had this thought before, but this is the first like genuine steps I've had towards it. And yeah, so we'll see. but I'm sure I'll be leaning on y'all a little bit.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. That's what it's all about.
So I got my Mac, Holly. And
I saw.
We started taking steps to setting it up.
Yeah.
Rybo, who was on Nintendo Talk this week.
Yeah.
Which that episode turned into something I was not like. It's funny because I bring people on and we're talking Nintendo, we're serious, and about a quarter of the way through, I was just like, "This can't be this episode." Like, he's just not allowing me to be this type of episode. He's taking shots at me. It's Rybo being Rybo, and I was like, and it turned into this like us just taking shots at each other, and Joe's involved in it and stuff. People seem to like it. We'll see. I don't know. But at the end of the day, he is one of my best friends, and he helps me do a lot of what I do. And so what happened was I reached out to him, and I'm like, man, I'm torn. Do I go with a PC? I told you about this stuff too, but I was like, do I go with a PC? Do I go back with a Mac? What led me essentially to buy the Mac was the video content creating side of it. Like, I love the durability and how good it is and how easy it is to do stuff on a Mac. But streaming is not so cohesive with a Mac. So I was like, if I do this, I have to partition. We have to partition it. We're going to make part will be PC, part
Best
will be
thing
Mac.
to do.
Yeah. So, but I bought the 27-inch. With the 27-inch, you're allowed to add RAM to it to make it, add memory to the RAM. So it comes, what I bought was 16 gig. I bought 16 gig of RAM already in the thing. And Rybo was like, I said to Rybo, I said, I'd like to go higher. He's like, don't go higher with Apple. He's like, they charge way too much money for RAM, for memory. He's like, just, you can get it cheaper on your own. I was like, okay. So I started thinking, I'm like, I would love to get it upgraded right away. I'm like, what? So he breaks out. I buy, for 100, Amazon had it on sale, $100, another 32 gig of RAM. So I opened the slot up on the back of to put the RAM in. I'm thinking I have to pull the one, and Rybo's like, wait a minute. Because I literally like took my phone, FaceTimed him, set my phone on the back of it, pointing into it. I'm like, I don't want to mess up. You tell me what to do. He's like, wait a minute. He's like, there's 4 slots there. He's like, you might be able to just add that to it.
Yeah.
So I do, and now I have 48 gigs. Last night we run a test because when you set up now, apparently when you set up OBS for the first time, it'll run a speed test. And tell you what your settings should be. 1080, 60 frames. I've never been able to run that. So I run a test stream last night with that out there, and it's not even putting a dent in what, like,
it won't.
No, so like right now my computer is running at 37%, right? 60 frames, 37%. And I'm running 720, and we're just talking, right? This thing, I was doing just me talking to people, had different scenes, and I'm bouncing back and forth between different scenes. It had like 6% memory was being from the computer. Wow. I'm like, dude, this baby's gonna zoom, man. I'm like, this is amazing. So
that's a big leap for you then.
Sure.
It's a massive leap. It's gonna be hopefully it's gonna be really doing what I wanted to do, and it's gonna be awesome. But as far as Animal Crossing, to get back to where we're at, I mean, I think that this week's been a really bad week for me in terms of like getting in and playing and stuff. I really haven't had the chance or the time because I was canceling streams a lot this week. I just would come home and I was just drained. And I was like, this is not, because the location I'm going to, I'm doing the same job, but it's so much busier in this office. It's the original office. It's the most, and I've worked for this company. Originally, I worked for them for 7 years, and then I left for a bunch of years, and I went back to a different location. So I know the gist. I know what to do. I have it all down. But for some reason, the owner was just like, I want to transfer people to kind of cross-train or whatever, or parallel train really is what I'm calling it. You're not really learning it. I mean, you're learning some stuff just because everybody does something a little different, and you're picking up tips and stuff. But I'm like, it's 40 minutes away, so it's a 40-minute drive. And by the time I got done, I was just wiped. And honestly, yesterday you were like, you had problems with your house. Let's just say,
Oh, no,
let's just say,
yeah.
I want to apologize for that. I am genuinely so sorry. It just like made me really anxious, like not
no.
knowing if I'd have a toilet.
You're fine.
You're
The-
fine.
what-
You're
what-
fine.
what
I
I-
was
felt
fully
terrible for
prepared
you.
to pee in the bath.
No.
I was honestly, I'd actually
Oh
thought
my
about if
God.
I had to pee in the bath, how I would do it. Like I don't
Just
mind. I
turn the
will
water
do it.
on, let the water flow. Like, trust me, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But the thing is
Oh my gosh.
that actually helped me. You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
Well, I thought
when you told me, I was like, oh, thank God. My only worry was whether the lock could actually reschedule
yes,
to
yeah,
today.
exactly.
Because I literally came home and I went to bed. I was so
Yeah.
just, this week is, because
Well,
waking up early and then going through all that busyness, I literally can't even look at my phone. Like, I pick up the phone and answer one text from somebody, and then I have to put it back down for 40 minutes to 2 hours. Like, it's nonstop, you know?
When work is so mentally draining, I feel like it takes a bigger toll on you. And if your week has been super hectic or busy, like it was semi-busy for me as well, that mental drain is just
It's rough, man.
overwhelming
that also.
almost.
Yeah.
I had one of those weeks as well, where like, I mean, Thursday, Iggy, my boyfriend, got home a bit earlier and he just found me like in tears at my desk. Like it was just one of those weeks, and it affects me so physically as well. Like it really manifests. Like not, I guess that's quite common, but it doesn't make it any less difficult. So I also barely played Animal Crossing this week, apart from my Wednesday stream, my Friday stream, but like apart from that, I really didn't do much at all. What is not Animal Crossing related, which I'm really excited about, is that, so Bobby, you know that years ago I used to film my videos using a Canon camera. I don't know why. I guess because I have this streaming camera now that I just didn't even consider, you know, trying to kind of go back to that. But I actually bought a tripod, and yesterday I filmed my first video on my Canon after literal like years of not really using it. And then I bought a little Stream Deck Mini, which is like super cute. I only got the little one because honestly I don't want anything too technical. My setup's pretty basic.
I have the middle grade one, but that was actually the big one when I bought it. Then they came out with a bigger one.
Now they've got an extra big one. Well, this one I wanted because, I mean, obviously because it's like way smaller. It was half the price, and I was really, because this is like quite a milestone for me, but I got my first Twitch payout last week, and it made me feel really precious over that money, because I was like, this is what I've worked, I've put in all these hours of doing all this different stuff. So I was like, I'll buy the little one. I'll see how I get on. But I actually love the little one. It's literally so tiny. And I had loads of fun with it on stream. On Friday, I did a race with Yorny and Wilbo, and I have like all these little sound effects on here, so I could like, you know, if I was lost or if I was struggling.
What do you mean you did a race? What race?
I did a race.
Crunchy Island?
Not Crunchy Island. I did Chewy Island, which was so difficult. It was so difficult. It was a very, very kind of similar setup. Obviously not completely, but it was just like you go to all these different areas, you have to grab all these different resources, but like about 2.5 hours in, I'm not very good with stuff like that. I have really bad coordination. So but it was fun to just kind of like hang out with the chat, and they were all very patient with me, because I said to them many times, be patient with me when I do these kinds of things. I'm not very good. But yeah, it was fun, and I think if anyone's considering buying any kind of stream deck, like definitely do it. There's way more to it than what I originally realized.
Yeah, man, you could actually control the volume.
And also people like use them for non-streaming purposes. You know, like like Zoom meetings. They use them for like controlling their Alexa light bulbs. I've literally seen so many different. It's incredible, and I love that they're like tiny little TVs. Like it looks so high tech to me. Like amazing. It looks amazing. So that's.
I'm constantly like I have multiple scenes set up on my OBS. And I'm constantly like, if I want to switch between, I just reach over, push the button.
And they're not difficult to push. They're not a real click. You don't have to really. I can just literally lean over with my nails and just be like, boop, and then it's done.
And boom, it changes and goes back. Yeah, I love it. I think it's amazing.
It's so handy and so convenient. And I think when I think about where I was, well, not even 6 months ago, really. Obviously, I came back to YouTube like May time, and then we did Breaking Bells, and then that's when that all kind of kicked off. But you kind of you have it in your head what you want to use for your setup. And it's amazing how you're constantly, as a content creator, trying to think of more ways to make it easier for you, but to like reduce the time spent on silly little tasks so that the output is a lot more, because it's like a personality and it's, you know, high. Like I always find my streams are really like high energy, so I need the rest of my life to be completely zen, you know, like so I just think stuff like that's kind of really important to it's just a little bit of breathing space.
The one thing that I will say that I am impressed with you about is 4 years ago when we were working together, you know, like I talk about this and I jokingly say like I fired you, but essentially that's essentially I did, you know, but the reason was because a situation like yesterday would have happened.
Yes.
And you literally would have just bailed on the show and not been like, hey, when else can we do this?
When can we do this?
You would have just been like, I'm out and left. Sorry. And I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, but this one, you were like, yesterday, you were like, hey, I just can't record the time we have allotted for.
But I was like, give me a time tomorrow and I will be there.
And you were even like, I'll even go later tonight. And I was just like,
I don't care, like as long as we get it done, because it's
So for me, I feel like that's huge strides for you as a person. Like that you've had character building over that time where, you know, it's not that you're worried about, oh, Bobby's going to get upset. It's more like you're being respectful of my time now, and you didn't do that before. Before it was just like, I worry about Holly and that's all that matters and that's it. Where it shows as a person you've grown over that time. Yeah. You know, so
for sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just like Holly 4 years ago was someone that just I was God, this is getting a bit deep, but I was like really relying on sleeping tablets to like get me through. I had really bad insomnia and I just couldn't, like, my brain just wasn't there. My brain wasn't in it, and I was never happy with what I was putting out, but I just sort of kept putting stuff out. And then I remember you said to me, it was when I first messaged you and I was like, hey, by the way, I'm coming back to YouTube. You were like, look, if you want to do this, you need to literally grab it by the horns and just like go with it. And I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I actually had a community, and then I was like, well, these are my people and I don't want to let them down. And it's really important to me as well, that because I know how much it means to you. Like I've watched you over the years consistently. And as well, then it's just like, what is a week without Breaking Bells? Yeah. You know, there just is, there isn't. Because
it's weird, yeah. It's weird.
So that's why I was like, look, Sunday is my nothing day. It is my day where I've had to strictly tell myself, I'm not going to edit too much. It's just my day off, you know? So Monday nights I tend to kind of edit and stuff now. But I was like, no, it's not the end. Like I find it a lot easier because I'm working from home. But, you know, I would have done any time. You could have given me any time and I would have done it. Like, whereas Holly back in the day would have just been like, nah, you know, whatever.
Oh, trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. Like, well, I don't know if you remember this. So, I'll divulge something that's something.
Go on.
So, when I was doing Breaking Bells before this, right?
Yeah.
And I was just basically bringing guests on to interview and talk. You know, Breaking Bells used to be a situation where I'd be like, hey, what was your first Animal Crossing game you played? What was your favorite Animal Crossing game? You know, what's your favorite memory of Animal Crossing? Like, that type of stuff, right? That's what it really was. And then we would kind of talk about whatever with the people. Because originally the show was supposed to be with me and my ex-wife. And then we wound up getting divorced. Well, we were already going through a divorce, but we were going to try to still stay friends. And then lawyers got involved and she couldn't be on the show. And whatever. Yeah. So at that point, it changed, it evolved. And then, so it was a point where I was bringing people on. And in my mind, I was like, man, all I'm doing is talking to dudes. I need to start getting some women involved on this show. Yeah. So I reached out to you, and you were like, yeah, I'd love to be on. And
I remember that.
You canceled on me.
Yes, I remember that.
A day before.
Oh, no. Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, I can't do it.
And I was like, I literally was like, I remember laughing, and I was like, typical Holly. Well, I don't know why. And I literally in my head was like, I don't know why I even asked her.
I don't know why. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, just whenever you get around to it, let me know when you're ready. And I was just like, I let it, and you never got back. And then
it was like years, like later.
It was like a year. It was like a year later. It was like a year later. Yeah. And then you were like, hey, I'm making a return. And I was just like, oh, here we go again. But I was like, it actually was just in the right spot for me to be like, okay, we're going to end this, and then we're going to try to pick this back up.
I think it's personal growth just overall from what I'm hearing. And I think everyone should strive to grow in some way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you stay the same person, and some people may not like you as that person.
I needed to mature. Like, I had spent so many years and in an unhappy situation that like it kind of stunted me growing as a person. Like, we lived in London, I developed all kinds of awful like mental health things, and then we moved back in with my parents, and then we moved in with our friends. And I mean, I'm sure everyone's got a story of living with their friends, and then that becomes difficult. And then it was like everyone was tiptoeing around each other, and it was really, there was a breakdown in communication, and I was trying to like manage this YouTube thing. I literally hated my job so much. So I had to kind of, I'd started taking sleeping tablets because I was anxious all the time, but then I'd completely screwed up. Like, I would take a sleeping tablet, I still wouldn't be able to sleep, and then I'd wake up like 3 hours later, and the first few hours of my shift I literally could barely like talk because my body was just like literally asleep. And I would stumble, and I would just find it so hard to coordinate myself. And so I feel like there was some years, and it just happened to be when I was doing YouTube the most, I could just never figure out what I wanted to do. I would go from doing a really, me swearing GTA, and to me then literally doing like a kids game, and I could just never quite figure out my audience. I didn't feel like I had this community. I wasn't really involved on like Twitter. I just felt a total disconnect. And I think because I didn't feel that value, I didn't feel the value of building something up, I didn't have the self value, I didn't understand how it would impact others. And my dad, like, he's always been kind of critical in that way, because he's always like, oh, Holly, you never finish anything you start, and blah blah blah. But like, over the years, I think once I got away from those situations, we started living on our own, we got different jobs, I started not hating my life as much. And then I just think, with the excitement of Animal Crossing, and when I kind of came on Breaking Bells, I was kind of nervous of how people would receive me, because I feel like I do have a presence, like I do have quite a loud, laughy, jokey personality, and not everyone likes that, and not everyone likes change. You could go from someone amazing to another person that's amazing, but people don't like the transition. So all of a sudden, people were reaching out to me, people were talking to me, and it was this like, oh my god, I'm like, people like me, and people want me to continue. And then I was like, well, that's what it is, because when you're a small content creator, or you come back to doing it, just one person watching your videos and just commenting is so huge. I used to sit there and just be like, if one person watches this video and likes it, then that's my job done. I've made a difference. So but
I think the thing that I liked about this was I was able to kind of kickstart you right off the gate. You know what I mean?
Literally like pushed me into this position.
Well, because it was a matter of like, excuse me, it was a matter of I was growing so quickly.
Yeah.
And like I was like, they'll just cling, and they did.
Yeah.
Like it was weird because like they just started showing up at your stuff.
It was so weird for me. I remember there were so many streams that I got off, and me and Iggy, I'm not joking, we would just sit with each other and just be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like I just could not believe, because it was like I was living my dream. It honestly feels like that now. It feels like, and it's so weird, I still don't feel like it's real, because when I think about the Discord, and like Kate's one of my mods, she sent me like the funniest thing the other day, and it was like, happy like National Boss Day. And I was like, boss? I was like, is that like me? I was like, yeah, I guess my name's on the server, but I don't I do have a weird like disconnect. I don't like being on a pedestal, but at the same time I acknowledge that I am on like a pedestal in a way, and
you're a boss.
It's a weird one.
Accept it.
Exactly.
I'm just me.
I want to transition this for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Locke, what have you played previous Animal Crossing games?
So I think I've played City Folk, but I don't remember any of it. But the first one that I actually, am cognizant that I remember was New Leaf.
Okay.
However, I didn't play it at all to the extent of New Horizons for me. Like, I think either. I got all the Mario items and I threw them in one room, and I was like, by that point, I was like, I'm over it. I had like the first and second floor, I think. I don't remember the different tiers for that one even. But my stepdaughter started playing it a little bit, and she's 8, and she she enjoys it, and like kind of getting to see her play on my old New Leaf island, or I guess it was a town then. Island.
Yeah.
But, seeing her like kind of enjoy it a bit, and all she does is like sell shells and
I love that.
Picks flowers,
shake trees, and
very innocent playthrough for her.
Yeah.
But to see her enjoyment of it kind of made me want to go back and play, but I haven't played it. But I don't know what it is with the newest version of this. Like I've never been in Discords before for anything. This is the first time. Like I follow probably 12, 13, 14 different content creators that all do Animal Crossing content. Like I've never been this into something before, and I'm just enjoying it so much. And I think kind of encompassing kind of with what Holly's been through and stuff, as well as I think if I was going to go further with it, streaming or whatever, my thought process going into that would definitely be just based on what I've seen. And kind of where my headspace is at now as an adult. If I don't enjoy it, or I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I'm obviously going to step back and, think about it further, because that's the whole thing. That's the meat of everything. If you're not enjoying doing it, because it is a creative field, then you need to kind of step back and think about it some more, and maybe look inward a little bit more, because it has a lot of it has to do with your perception of yourself, and if you are confused with how you are as a person, you can't put your best
showed in my
forward. Exactly.
It showed
forward for people who you want to join. Your community. And I feel like the Animal Crossing community overall is just so great, and I don't
good eggs.
I feel like there's depends on where you're at. You need to notice when things are bad and just get when you can. how and I do this sometimes because I'm curious how people find me. Like where did you find me at?
So I found you through Nintendo Talk,
Okay.
Pat,
Mm-hmm.
and I still follow him as well. But I think that his video I think was recommended for me.
Okay.
And then as soon as you start watching, you know, a certain type of video, other
Yeah.
content creators are starting to hear you might, you know,
Mhm.
enjoy this. So Mayor Mori, I think I watched some of his because I was first getting into it. I didn't know how
Yeah.
to play the game, and so his videos were informative in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I don't know how exactly, but I think it was from his channel,
Might have been
and
probably Nook Talk might have been it.
possibly yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of how
Yeah.
I was shown your videos and kind of how I got into that, and then that's how I got into Holly and Kato Crossing,
Yay.
you know, all those other content creators too. So
Yeah, Kato's pretty awesome too. She's
Yeah.
alright. She's alright. The
I bet she's rolling her eyes right now.
she's like typical Bobby taking shots. Yeah, so I it's weird because I try to find new stuff where I can. You know what I mean? Like I'm always trying to look. I've actually started watching some of Mayor Mori's stuff. I kind of always try to stay away from content creators that are similar just because I don't want to be accused of stealing their stuff or any of that. So I kind of I unplug from other people's content.
Yeah.
The stuff that I'll watch is like if Ryan's on stream, I'll watch his streams, but I won't go watch Ryan videos. You know, I love Ryan to death. You know, Ryan FTW.
Yeah.
I love him to death, but I won't go watch his videos because I don't want people to go like, "Oh, you're copying him," or "You're trying to steal his stuff." Or so I like I'll go to his streams. Same with Kang. I love Kang. Go to his streams, but I won't watch their videos just for that factor of like I want to try to create stuff to be as original as I can.
Yeah.
But it's never easy to do. It's always a hard juggling act.
I can see it because you have that feeling that it's been done before and you want to be original.
Yeah.
However, you know, there's so many of you guys.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of overlap, and I think for me, because I watch so many, I just enjoy it. I like regardless. I guess because I don't know. I don't think of it in that way. Like so and so miss from so and so. I think of it as more as, well, I enjoyed this video. Now I get to kind of watch something similar from this other content creator, and that's kind of my thought process. But I know not everyone is on that same wavelength.
No. Trust me, I've gotten comments in my stuff like, "You're not the first to tell me this." I'm like, I wasn't trying to be the first. I was just trying to like.
It's very possible for multiple people to have the same original idea. Like that's the thing, and people kind of forget that. I do you know what? I'm subscribed to like quite a few Animal Crossing creators, but typically like my favorite kinds of videos to watch are like lifestyle videos, hauls. I love like beauty channels. Like I honestly, that is so I always, because I now know the value, so I will always try and watch parts of videos. I always sometimes I'll comment. So like some of my creator friends might maybe be sitting there and thinking like, oh well, Holly never comments and she never does this, but like I genuinely do go on there and show my support all the time. You know that I kind of prefer streaming. I've never been someone that watches streamers. I've never done that. But then like, Bobby, you were like streaming Animal Crossing, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I liked the whole environment, I guess. And now I find myself tuning into just for like background noise sometimes. Like it's just nice to have on. So I think, but typically I don't, because here's the thing is like I feel like I know this game inside out now. I don't feel like there's something that's we are all given the same stuff to work with.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I don't feel like I'm seeing anything new. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just, it also impacts the way that I view my content. So whereas I want to, when I make a video, I want to be like, oh, do you know what? I've thought of this, and now I feel really good that I thought of it. And and I try and branch out with Animal Crossing a little bit. So I try and like, you know, I do like a drawing villages from memory video.
I really enjoyed that video, by the way. That was really nice.
I need to do another one where I actually like react to how they actually look. I just forgot to actually do that. But I don't know if it's not gonna be up by now, I don't think. But my next kind of different Animal Crossing video is that I'm gonna buy some pumpkins and I'm gonna film myself carving pumpkins like like Animal Crossing things and seeing how I get on. So I do try and like kind of branch out a little bit, but it is tough. I'm not worried about people thinking I've plagiarized something, but it's just there's so much of the same thing on this platform at the minute and it's really hard to differentiate yourself. So yeah, I definitely just do what you want.
Pretty much, yeah, and enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it like completely.
I want to say this before we wrap here because we're up on it today. Locke, thank you for coming on. I really truly appreciate you being here. This has been fun. It's always interesting to get, first off, to meet people from the community is amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that aspect. But then the fact of like, for you to reach out to us and be like, hey, you know, if you're ever looking for somebody, and then like it parlays into this. This was fun, and I'm so happy to have just given you the opportunity. I'm gonna be honest with you, Holly. She was a little nervous. She was a little nervous in the fact of like, am I being pushy? Like, more than once, she's like, if you really don't want to do it, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm like, no, like. It's all good. We want you on, like, you know.
You just have to like put yourself out there, and like I know that feeling because whenever I've wanted to kind of do stuff on my videos and I've maybe wanted to reach out, I'm like, oh well, they're a lot bigger than me, and they, you know, and they probably think I'm like really pathetic, but like it's not that at all. In fact, I really love it when Bobby messages me and he's like, oh, this person approached me. I really love that. Like I really.
Well, the funny thing is she was like. I said to her, I said, well, let me talk to Holly about it or whatever, and we'll go. I think she thought, let me talk to Holly in terms of, like, get Holly's permission.
Yeah, I'm
Holly runs the show.
No. Holly has no say in any of this. I'm like, I just literally go, what I do, so here's the thing. I used to do a podcast with Holly, with another friend of mine named Toby. Toby really didn't like guests at all. And like, so as a respect thing, I would kind of like let him know in advance, just so that way it's not surprised, it's not dropped on him, and he's like, you know, because he was very standoffish with a couple of guests,
right?
Because he didn't know them, and it caught him off guard, and he's just not, you know, he has a very British personality, you know what I mean? Like,
I would buck them all into one, like, you know.
I would, trust me. That's why we left in 1776. You may not know this, but this is a fact.
Oh, gosh.
But the thing is like, so I just let Holly know, like, hey, just a heads up, we gotta get someone who wants to be on.
Yeah.
And you know, and so that's why I was like, I laughed, and you were like, what did Holly say? And I'm like, thinking to myself, like, she got no say, man. Like, she's
like I do not. I genuinely like. I am really easygoing with stuff like that. I find it's very rare that I'd be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
like
no.
I just don't.
It's a different personality.
Not my thing.
Yeah, he's
and I don't think I thought that really. It was just this is new to me. This is only the second time I've put myself out there.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm available if you need a guest one week last minute, like throw me in.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Here's the thing.
And I feel like I'm on this trend of being a professional podcast guest.
That's fine.
And that's like all I do.
That's fine. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to say. What did you say the name of the? I forgot again. The name of the podcast you're on?
Tiny Islands.
Tiny Islands, that's it. I wanted to say Tiny Libraries, but I know that's not it. Tiny Islands. I would encourage anybody to go listen, because here's the thing. When I listened to that show, the first thing I was listening for was the audio quality. I wanted to make sure that like it didn't sound like you were talking out of a tin can, because that's always the issue.
Yeah.
And listen, that's even with professional podcasters. Like, go listen to 90% of the IGN stuff that's coming out now. It's horrible. And I'm going like, here's my buddy Sean Capri driving around in a car and his audio sounds perfect, and you got a guy that's in a house and it sounds like he's in an echoey warehouse talking. It blows my mind. So that's the first thing I listen to is that. The second thing I listen to is what is the content you are producing? Like what's your level of knowledge? And I was floored by
She
how
knew her stuff.
No, not her, you. I'm talking about you. I'm not.
It's
like,
easier for me to compliment somebody else.
No. I'm saying that I was listening to you, not her. I was listening to. You gave me the sample of you. I was listening to like A, what was your audio quality, and B, what were you bringing to the table in terms of like conversation? Was it one side? You were carrying a lot of that conversation, and to me that tells me A, you know what you're talking about when it comes to this stuff, and you have a knowledge and you have a way of articulating that knowledge through your voice. And I was like, absolutely. That's why I was like, there's no like, yes, we're gonna bring you on. Like it works. So take a compliment. My God, like don't try to pawn it off on somebody.
Animal Crossing, or I'll have an ASMR channel. We'll see how it goes.
Oh my God. Anyway,
God.
Okay, anyway, so that is all. Thank you guys for this amazing week. I hope you guys enjoyed this week. If you did, go check it out. Go back and listen to other stuff and all that. Listen to the audio version on Spotify. And you know what? I don't think it's on Spotify. I have to fix that. Someone reached out to me and said that, and I have to fix that. But it is on Apple. No. It is on Google Play and all that stuff. It'll be a no-brainer to get on Spotify. We'll get that done. For now, that is all. Peace out, Preston.
Bye.
Bye.